I know some of y'all are like, oh, poor Erika. I'm sorry, I can't get with the dramatics. I
Look,
cannot.
for the last 5 years, y'all said she wasn't an actress, and now she's putting on the performance that's going to get her an Emmy next year.
Child, she
So
won't
I'm
get
here
one.
for it.
What's up, everybody? It's me again, and it is time to lead in, bitch. We're here for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, episode 9, 10, I don't know. Episode Erica crying, and getting on my damn nerves. With me today, welcome back, Jayne. How you doing? We've been doing a little alternation here. You
Hey,
come, Danny come, you come, Danny
good to
come.
see we tag teaming in and out.
We are, and it's working well. Danny cannot be with us today, but he said he will be here next week. So he says. But this episode, we have, like you just said, or you said earlier, they say that she's cold. She shows no emotion, and she really hasn't shown any emotion, to be honest with you. Um, but now that she's showing it, I don't want to see it just because of the situation of what's going on. Like, and I'm not saying she's not hurting. I can't talk. I can't. I can never sit here and downplay how she's feeling. But it's just like it seems to be a bit much to me. What do you think?
I think, yeah, I mean, you know that I've been a very vocal Erica stan for the past couple of years. I love her. I never wanted anything more from her. I never wanted more of her home life. She gave me everything that I needed from her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding it a little bit off putting to try to figure out how much of this is like real emotion or she's putting on an act
Mm-hmm.
or I mean because Erica's not stupid and part of the thing that people have said about her over the last couple of years is that she's very
Mm-hmm.
calculating. She only shows her hand on what she wants. So I don't know, I feel uncomfortable watching her cry. I feel bad watching her cry, but also it's kind of like, well, the jury's still out on how much you knew, at least for me, and I just can't. It's prohibiting me from showing like 100% like sympathy for the tears that she's shedding on the show, which sucks because I love her.
Well, before we go any further,
Child,
make sure
look,
you go
look.
listen. Before we go any further, make sure you
Let
go.
me stand her while you stand Candace. We each have
What
the
the?
people we
What is
love.
this?
we
Wait a minute.
we
Hold
each
up.
have the people
Wait
we
a
love. Our
minute.
problematic faves.
Wait a minute. Before we go any further, make sure you go down and you like this video because I'm about to let Jamie have it. You subscribe me. This ain't got nothing. Oh, make sure you go like the video, subscribe, and comment all things Lena. Okay, now that I have said that, first of all, she's not on this franchise. She
First
need
of
to leave that
all,
alone. Okay, and I want to ask you a question. Now, if this was Kyle doing all this crying and it happened to her, how would
oh, I
you
hate
feel?
her.
Oh, exactly. So don't be
Well,
sitting over here talking about, don't do
but the thing is,
it.
Kyle and Mauricio have had rumors going on for years that Mauricio has stolen money from people or bad business deals and stuff like that. And Kyle has been able to position it as such that she refuses to talk about it on camera. Like this is going back to when like
Well, it'll come
fucking
out. If
Brandy
it's
was on the
happening,
show.
if it's happening, it will come out. Trust me.
But Andy protects the people that like he loves and will allow editing to get away with some stuff. Like we've seen it with Nene.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it with, well, maybe not so much with Nene because Nene brought in ratings when she was pissed off. So
That's true.
so Andy let them girls attack her.
That's true.
But I mean, it's Andy protects the people, and I don't understand why Kyle's one of them people. But no, now you're getting me off on a tangent. Fuck
Right.
Kyle.
Let's switch gears a little bit. So the beginning of the episode actually picks up from last week, and I just realized I lost my nose ring. Oh my gosh. It picks up from last week where Sutton versus Crystal. Sutton said the lady's pants was ugly leather pants. And she storms off. She's hysterical. She's crying. And I just found it so funny that, Sutton actually came and threw some shade and was like, I was wrong, child. I meant pleather. And I'm just like, now you know damn well Crystal they had no fucking pleather pants on. She got too much money. I would hope that they would not be pleather. But if they
I
were,
mean,
Sutton, I got some pleather in here. Okay.
for that ass.
But yeah, so continue from this argument. Of course, they bring Sutton back down. I'm sorry, they bring Sutton back over, and Crystal just like sitting over here, like I'm not going over there, not feeding. And you know what? Honestly, people like I love Sutton. I love Sutton, but at the same time, people like Sutton they want that damn consoling, that comfort and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that. And I'm very much so a Crystal person. Like, I'm not gonna go over there and give her what she wants. It's kind of like, remember when Nene was crying that one reunion and Candy was like, everybody
That's
went over
very
there
candy.
to ran to Nene. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like at this point there's just nothing that they're gonna come to an agreement on how they feel. Crystal has made it very clear she's not apologizing. She's not changing her words. She feels how she feels. Sutton still is like, and I'm kind of getting tired of the girls, like even Garcelle, trying to get them to be like, oh, so what do you want? They ain't giving it to each other. But I wanted to know, like, how
Yeah.
did you feel about that when they sat down again? Do you feel like when she said, what did she say to Sutton? And Sutton was like, oh yeah, she said, I don't like being in your presence. And Erika was like, come on now. Did you feel like she's been aggressive? Because she tried to downplay it like she wasn't.
My thing is, for starters, you and I have been looking forward to this argument since before the show fucking aired.
That's true.
We were so excited. We thought that this was going to be this drag out, dramatic argument, and they solved that shit in 34 seconds at the beginning of the episode. I felt cheated. I wanted
Yeah.
Sutton to continue with the theatrics. As much
Yeah.
as tired as I am of it, I'm like, girl, if you're going to throw a fucking scene like this and
Mm-hmm.
ruin this party, fucking what's his name? Harry Hamlin got up and vacated the fucking premises
Yeah.
after you caused this whole scene, and then you're just going to go upstairs and start laughing with everybody? Like, I don't know what's going on. It and you're right. At this point, I'm tired of the girls giving into it. I love Garcelle, how much she tries to like ride for Sutton, but I really wish that she would just sit her down and be like, at some point you've got to let it go. Like
You
this
gotta
girl
let it
is
go.
not going to give you what you want. The girl's not going to. Crystal's not going to give you what you want ever. Let it the fuck go because we're tired.
No, I agree.
Um, I'm I can see, and the thing where she said, well, you said that I was manic and my father committed suicide because he was manic. I was like, girl, that's the first I've ever heard in the 6 weeks y'all been talking about this argument. So like,
Sutton
I
is
feel like
reaching. Sutton is
you
bringing.
grasping for straws at this point.
She is looking for anything she can to justify so she can get this apology, and it's just not going to happen.
Not gonna
And I'm
happen.
just like, Sudden girl, like, stop it. Like, it's getting to be too freaking much. And I will say, I'm tired of the feud, but I'm kind of enjoying the feud, but I'm kind of tired of the feud, because that's all that's really been happening since like the second or third episode. But do I'm gonna tell you what took me out. Crystal has these little liners, child. And it's like she was just like, you're an inappropriate, awkward person. Period. I'm just like, oh, it just that period just hit me.
And
I said, oh,
I want to know what Crystal Zodiac is because I know so many people like her that they're not going to placate feelings. They're not going to
yeah.
continue having the same shit. Oh, like you said, the same shit over and over and over again. And yeah, the argument is draining, but it provides. I think it gives the viewers a little bit more of an insight into just how Crystal deals with conflict, which is she just doesn't. It's very much like
She's the
I'm
type
just
of
not
person
doing
that
this
she doesn't.
anymore. It's
I don't do this. I like. There are people out there that I feel like they're very what's the word I'm looking for, child? Very not problematic. What's the word when you like to argue? I can't think of the word right now, child. My mind is going blank.
combative.
Uh, yeah, yeah, very, very combative, very argumentative. And then you have people that, what I'm saying, they want something out of it. Like they want to also argue. Just kind of how Kyle and Dorit was when Dorit kind of walked off and Kyle was like, you're just going to walk off? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have people like, what's her name? Crystal, who was just like, I'm not doing it. Like, and it bothers people who are combative, who are
Oh yeah.
argumentative because they want that. They want not even just the moment. They use that moment to justify how they feel, and it's like Crystal's like, girl, no, I'm not doing that with you. And so I can't blame the girls. Like people are actually living for Crystal, for these moments.
Oh
At this
yeah.
point, I think we're all kind of like drained of sudden these breakdowns, and siding more with Crystal, even though there's wrongs on both sides as it relates to their arguments, like these little heated discussions they've been having. I applaud Crystal because I will be the same way.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. And I think that if Sutton is smart, I think Sutton is the kind of woman. I mean, she's raised kids and stuff, but I don't think that she's been the type of woman that has been around a large group of friends
Yeah.
consistently. And this is kind of a fishbowl thing. Hanging out with your friends is completely different than being forced to hang out with women you barely know and film with them for hours and hours and hours on end. Like you
Yeah.
don't know these people. So I get it. I will say that I enjoyed Sutton in the episode when she got back to being Sutton, which is just the Southern. When she's talking about how she's raising her kids, she's not wearing lip fillers, she's not wearing eyelashes, she's not out all night,
Yeah.
she's home, she's here. Like that's what I really enjoy. And then she threw that little barb out about the play day. She goes, she's not, she's not having that play date with Amelia at all. Like you can see that she definitely is a Southern woman who keeps a tight leash on her kids,
Hmm.
who really values her family and values her kids. And I think what this is the first time we've actually even seen her kids on the show, and I think it's because her daughter
Yeah.
just turned 18,
I
and
was
so
gonna
her
say that
daughter's
because
an
she
adult
looks.
now.
Yeah, I honestly for a second I thought that was Chris. I said, are they hanging out? I was looking, and then I was like, oh, and she looks just like her mom, but with brunette, like
Oh
dark
yeah,
brunette hair. Like they look
yeah.
just alike. But she says her daughter is more outspoken, so that's kind of interesting. I would love to see her in action because, I mean, Sutton is very much so like you don't want to see me get angry.
He's like, okay, well,
So I wonder
you've
if your
been you've been
daughter.
getting angry for 6 episodes.
Yeah, we've seen it. You were upset. And then I gotta point out, of course, Kathy. She every episode she does something. When she said that's mixed up, and Garcelle was like, "That's messed up." Me and my mama was in here cracking up like, "Kathy, girl, Kathy,
She, even when she's like we've
Kathy
said this
Hilton."
episode after episode, she is hilarious unintentionally. Talk about
Mm-hmm.
the damn dolls that she collects and all of her little side gigs or whatever, the
Yeah.
antiques and stuff. That is so. I don't know what I expected her hobbies to be, but
Mm-hmm.
this is a Kathy Hilton hobby. Like
Yeah.
nobody else would have this hobby. And then her hollering at these dogs and the howling at them over her estate. Like this is Kathy is just she's the gift that keeps on giving, and I love this woman. Like I'm gonna smash cut of just every random Kathy scene, so that's great.
So I remember back when this happened. Of course, it broke news that some of the girls had caught COVID. So they announced,
Hmm.
this is the point. This is around the time they announced it here. So they had to quarantine, but so they had like this whole scene of them like virtually recording the conversation between Lisa, Kyle, and Erika after the news had broke. You think? I mean, I think the word that Erica is stuck on is that it's a sham.
Yeah,
Basically they're at this point already kind of alluding that she was involved, and I find it very interesting that she's kind of like a lot most of the episodes. She's not really speaking, but she's speaking. She even says, "I'm gonna wait till I tell my side of the story."
hmm
Which I'm assuming is in these courtrooms and stuff like that because, I mean, at this
it ain't in
point,
these episodes.
at this point, this story being told ain't working because they clearly have already making her pay back some of these victims, as we see it in the actual headlines right now. So, I just found it interesting that they had that moment, and then like every scene after that was them talking about it. The COVID situation was funny to me also because they had Garcelle talking to Kyle over the balcony, and then I think they showed another scene where Lisa was talking to Dorit over the balcony.
Yeah,
And so that just goes to show you like how much they were trying to film. Like they were really trying to make sure they got footage this year,
yeah,
because they had so many breaks. And I mean that's pretty much like what they all talk about. They talk about this this whole Erica thing. We did a whole episode on the documentary, so I don't want to sound like
yeah.
a broken horse, but based off of what we saw before on the documentary, what we knew leading up to this point, and then where we are now, what are your thoughts on the situation? Because I feel like the narrative that Erica is trying to put off now is that she would constantly ask questions and ask questions and ask questions, and she just would not get answers.
Yeah.
That's what she's, at least that's what I'm getting. That's what I got today. Would you agree? Do you feel like now watching this episode, that she either knew, didn't know, or she's still playing? She's still trying to get her Emmy. Because the Emmy
So,
nominations came. The Emmy nominations
the
already
Emmy
came out.
nominations
They
came.
came out. They came. I didn't see her on the list, so I guess she ain't getting no Emmy this year.
MJ Rodriguez. She is not. She is not MJ
She
Rodriguez.
ain't
She's not my mother.
Rodriguez. She ain't Journey
She's not my
Smollett.
mother.
She ain't what's her name? What's the girl name from the
The other white
superhero
girls, I
movie?
don't know.
All them, yeah. She ain't none of them.
I don't know.
I did not see Erika Jayne on the list for an Emmy, so obviously that ain't working. But what are your thoughts? Do you feel any different?
So I'm conflicted because the stories that she's telling now is she, like you said, she's making it sound like, oh, I would, the last 2 years I would consistently ask to be let in, and he wouldn't let me. So then my first question is, well, why? What's gone on in the last 2 years, and now all of a
Exactly.
sudden there's an urgency?
Exactly. Hmm.
Because and somebody in the comments or the viewers, whoever's watching this, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I always thought in her past seasons, Erika almost has boasted that I don't get
That they
involved
don't
with
have
any of the financials. Tom
exactly.
takes care of that.
Yeah.
Tom's funding my music career. Tom does this.
Yeah.
He jokes about me being expensive. She has a song. So I was always under the impression that Erika was very happy to like, yeah, I'm making my own money, but for the most part, I'm not involved in this. So now to see her say that she was shut out, and to see her say that she's asked multiple times over the last years and was denied. I mean, not saying that that couldn't have happened, particularly because she started to make more money in the last couple of years, or the marriage started to deteriorate. But
Hmm.
then I don't know if you caught this, but she mentioned at least 3 or 4 times throughout the episode Tom's
Hmm.
mental state. It
She did
felt
mention
to
that.
me almost that she was putting that out there, like, oh, he's incapacitated, his mental state is deteriorating. So that kind of either
But you know what? That's what they also talked about in the document. Well, that's what they're trying to. That's his
paint that he has
way,
Alzheimer's.
right? There.
Yeah. So
That's
my
his
question
legal
is,
team's way of
are
getting him out
you
of it.
trying to like are you trying to go along with the story and like knowing that you're going to have a
She's
platform
trying
that's
to
going to be
beat the
out there?
story.
Yeah. Or is it genuinely you're telling your friends like, I saw my husband deteriorate, and then the news caught on to it later? Like I'm trying, I don't know. It's so odd, like we said earlier, seeing Erika show emotion because she doesn't do that. So I don't know how to react to all these tears and all these now confessionals and these bombshells things about stuff that's coming out. Like I feel bad for her, but it's like, well, sis, I don't, either you knew and you didn't care, or you didn't know and you didn't care to know, or you didn't know and then found out a little something, and that's why, like she said, or why they suspected that she left, was now she's finding out all this stuff. So it's like, I don't
Well,
know. My thing is, I think that she didn't care to know. She
of
didn't
course she
care enough
didn't.
to ask questions. Give me the
That's
money.
what I've always
Give me
said.
the money and I'm good.
She
Give me the
did. You
money
know
and I'm
what? She
good.
didn't care to know, but you know, at the same time, she's sitting on watch what's happening live, and there's lawsuit questions coming up. She kind of brushed them to the side. At the point that, and this is just me, at the point that my spouse, my husband, my partner, whatever, my wife, is gonna be a husband, not a wife, obviously.
I was about to say.
Um, I'm just saying that for anybody
Okay,
that may
but
have
why are you trying to put
thoughts.
on for
For
the viewers?
anybody that may have thought that I was into women, my wife, but I'm not.
Nobody. Nobody.
um,
Nobody,
I
Chris.
just feel like it was put in that way. If that happens to me, I'm gonna start trying to get answers and questions, and I feel like she's trying to say that at that point she was trying to get answers and questions, but that's when you start to dig deeper. That's when you be like, listen. I mean, that's what I think. I cannot say what I can say what I would think I would do, but you never know what you're gonna do in a situation. She could have been scared. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't really have anything to her name other than this show. So who knows? I mean, he could have been a crazy old bat. He could have been beating her with his cane or whatever he got. Child, I don't know. He could have been doing a lot of things. Who knows? Who knows? He could have been
Well, and you also
hitting
have
her
to
with
consider like
medication
how
bottles. I don't
much.
know. Okay, I'm sorry.
Not with the walker. Not with the walker.
No, the
Don't you have a
medication
cane right
bottle.
now?
I don't actually. I have crutches.
But you also have to consider like how much can she actually talk about? Like I'm sure him being an attorney and going through all of this, she's been advised at this point, you can't
Well,
talk about shit, and that's the whole reason why she's not doing press. Like
yeah.
you can't talk about shit. So I mean, she was married to an attorney for 25 years. Like it's not like he's going to turn her loose in the middle of this and not put some stipulations on what she can and cannot talk about. And she keeps, like you mentioned a little bit ago, she keeps mentioning, I have so much to say, my side of the story. And it's the frustrating thing that, like, well, girl, you're on a reality show.
When are we
Fucking
gonna
say the
get it?
side of the story.
She
When are
didn't
we
get
going
on
to
the
get it?
documentary. I mean, when are we? I mean, to me, it's like it sounds like a bluff. It sounds like a ooh. When I get the chance to speak, I'm going. Or
Yeah.
like let me. You know how people get on Instagram? Meet me at 3 o'clock online on my page. I'm about to air so and so
Look,
out.
it was very when Nene was fighting with Bravo for 3.5 months, and she kept saying, "I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you what Bravo's done to me." And then every live, it was just like, "You, one day you'll hear." And I'm like, "Girl, just tell us what Bravo did." Shit,
Yeah, yeah. I
it's
don't
given
know.
very that, and it's like you have the opportunity now to say it. You have the opportunity. You're not saying it, so I don't know
Well,
what we're doing.
her legal team probably was advising her she didn't. That she didn't. Which her legal team, I think, dropped her. I think now.
No, they brought her back. They said, "Oops, we jumped the
Not
gun. We lied
oops.
about it." Yeah, they said, you don't remember that? We talked about that. They said, look, she was dishonest or something. And then 2 days later, they came back and said, we jumped the gun. We take it back. She wasn't dishonest. We're still representing her. Baby, this whole thing has been a mess.
Yeah.
Like, and so they're saying that, so the judge ruled that she doesn't have to pay them. What he ruled was those families can legally ask for money from her. Not saying they're going to
Okay.
get it,
Yeah.
but you now have the opportunity, which leads me to believe that one, she may not necessarily have known what was going on, but there is enough money coming in and out of them accounts that the judge is ruling it
Oh,
as
of
like, well,
course.
girl, that's
Of
them.
course.
Don't know what to tell you.
What do you think about the other housewives in the commentary? So I feel like in one end, Garcelle was just like, "Do we really know who Eric is?" And on one end, she's just like, well, she's basically like, defending defending wives against husbands in terms of like
Yeah,
how husbands hide things from their wives and
because
stuff
her
like that.
husband did it.
Her husband definitely did for like 5 years, right? I mean, how long?
Yep,
I mean, that's crazy.
yep.
So I mean, she could attest to that, but this is something a little different. But I mean, and Kyle was kind of like, Kyle kind of hit him in the head. She was just like, what did she say? I think she was like, did she? Oh, she got out. She basically was she trying to beat it before it came out. Got out the marriage before it came out. Honestly, she couldn't have did that because that marriage should have. You know what? The divorce should have happened a year before. Okay, it shouldn't happen a month or two before. Because then it looks
Yeah.
very shady. It looks kind of weird to me. But I don't know. I wish Eric the best, but I don't know how. I think she'll get out of this. Honestly, I really do. But I think
Hmm.
she's gonna have to continue to play this role that she really doesn't want to. This broken down wife. I didn't know he was abusive or whatever. And he's old, so it's like he's old and he's white. I mean, how much are they really gonna penalize this man? Like you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's just like he
yeah.
already close to the what Garcia say. Girl, why you didn't wait?
You guys said you couldn't have just waited.
Right. I mean, so I mean, I'm just saying I don't know, but
I
I
will
just
say, you mentioned this a couple of episodes ago, I think, that the way that Dorit and what's her name, Lisa and Kyle are handling this or not handling this by what they're saying or not saying is a stark contrast to getting to the truth with Denise.
of course they're
Um, and
pussyfooting. They're pussyfooting.
Dorit was surprisingly MIA this entire episode.
She's been
Like we
MIA a
saw,
lot, and I know Dorit would usually be a little more verbal with her little lips, like she was saying.
yeah,
She ain't saying
her
much
and
of
her lips
nothing.
and her blackface, her
But
lips
I
and her
think, but I
blackface.
really, and it's sad that it seems like Sutton is gonna be the person that's gonna actually be the one to be like, I think she knew.
Say what everybody else is saying
Um,
or thinking.
but we'll see. We'll see. Like it seems like Kyle wants to say something,
Oh yeah,
but she's kind of like playing like two sides. Cause she on the
yeah.
phone comforting her and saying like, no, nobody, this we could never saw this happening, and then she's talking to Garcelle over the balcony, Romeo and Juliet style, talking about
Okay.
some. I mean, who is this Erica? Because she playing both sides, so I hope
Yeah.
that I hope they don't leave Sutton out to dry, like just out there by herself when it does hit the fan. But
You know
yeah,
they're going to. But okay, so was I the only one that found it weird that Crystal was at that little luncheon and Erica's pouring her heart out about her marriage after only knowing Crystal for like 2 episodes?
was it Crystal and Lisa, right?
It was Crystal and Lisa, and I can understand the lunch and she's crying to Lisa and stuff, but I'm looking there, I was like, was this one of those things that they just needed Crystal to come to Phil? Because this seems like a very odd event for Crystal to be
I mean,
at.
they gotta bring them out, and Lisa and Erica have already had scenes and stuff like that. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know. They do what they gotta do, Chad. And I think at that time, one of
yeah.
the other girls sick, or who was actually sick? The Reed.
Everybody, Doritos, Kathy, Kyle, yeah, Doritos,
Okay,
Kathy, and Kyle. So it would have been, and Garcelle always work, and she's the only one out of them that work. So she
that
was
is
doing
true.
the
She
talk
does
and
work.
everything. So she probably wasn't available then.
That's so funny. My mama called it the. She said that she thought she was on. She said, "What is it called? The Look, the View." I said,
Different show,
not the
Mama,
Look.
different show.
Way different show.
The look.
Um,
Garcelle could never be on a show called The Look.
no, honey, no.
She don't got the looks. God bless her.
She don't. She gonna get it one day though. But that's pretty much all for the
One
episode.
day.
Like, it's nothing really else to go in depth.
Yeah.
I feel like if you want to hear more of our opinions about the Erika situation, you could gladly just go on over to the video. It's attached on to this page. The Housewife and the Hustler. Me and Jamie talked about it, child. Me personally, I think she'll be fine, but I do think she knows, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Hold on one second. But yeah, do you have anything you want to add before we close out?
Everything that we to in reference to Erica Girardi tonight is allegedly. We don't want any lawsuits.
Oh,
Erica,
we
we know you
don't.
need a coin.
Please.
You need a coin at this point, but don't come looking at it from us. Allegedly, you
Yeah, cause I ain't
allegedly
got
knew.
it. You need to pay them victims back before you try to come for
Pay the
my
victims
coin,
back.
okay? Cause
Look, don't come for
they
my
gonna look
$50
at they
credit
gonna
on a
look at
video
my
game.
account and be
That's all I
like,
got.
"What?" No, they ain't gonna say would. They just gonna be like, they gonna say what they want to say. And with that being said, we're going to lean out.
That's a humble brag, ladies and gentlemen.
With that being said, we're going to lean out. Of course, you can find myself and Jamie here every week, and also with Danny as well, talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You can find me at Stupid Wild Test, and then at Jamie at it's. He said, "What did you say? How you say? How you want to say
it's
it?"
it's Jaime, not Jamie 83. But I know my Caucasian friend Cortez doesn't know how to pronounce
Oh yeah.
ethnic names.
Uh huh.
We're gonna get him over to the New York City Housewives to get some racial conditioning and some racial sensitivity classes.
Yeah. Uh huh. Anyway, yeah. Like I said, thank y'all for watching this video. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, comment, all things lean. We're doing Housewives of Potomac, and we're finishing out Married to Medicine, some encore, and some Drag Race. So, with that being said, we're gonna lean out. Y'all make sure you have a good night. I'm gonna keep elevating this leg, and we see y'all next week for episode whatever the hell it is of
Whatever we're
Erica
on.
and her lawsuit. You have a good night.